Hey guys, it's Fnat Guide, and this is a camera comparison of the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. You can consider this an addendum to the comparison video I posted earlier this year, and so here is how this will work. I will discuss the camera specs of both these phones, see how they compare and contrast, and then you will see a photo and video comparison between the two. Let's get into it. Both the 11 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max have 3 cameras on the back, though there are some differences that stand out. The 11 Pro Max has a main sensor with an f1.8 aperture, a 2x telephoto sensor with an f2.0 aperture, and an ultra-wide sensor with an f2.4 aperture, all of which are 12 megapixel sensors. It has dual optical image stabilization with 0.5 or wide, 1x as well as 2x optical zoom, and Smart HDR2. The iPhone 11 series was the first to introduce night mode, though it could be only used with the main sensor. The 14 Pro Max has a new 48 megapixel main f1.78 aperture sensor, which is the first time since the iPhone 6s from 2015 in which the main sensor saw a megapixel increase. And now we have, in addition to the 40 megapixel sensor, we have a 12 megapixel 3x telephoto sensor with an f2.8 aperture and a 12 megapixel ultra wide f2.2 aperture sensor. And as opposed to the dual optical image stabilization on the 11 Pro Max, the 14 Pro Max uses sensor shift image stabilization in its main sensor. And how this works is the sensor moves around with up to 5,000 adjustments per second, but the lens does not. With optical image stabilization, the lens moves around and can adjust its position up to 1,000 times per second, helped by magnets and coils guiding the movement. Having the adjustment directly where the image capture happens, which is at the sensor, results in improved results. The sensor shift technology was introduced on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and made its way to the iPhone 13 series and 14 series. This technology can also be found in DSLR cameras. Also, with the 14 Pro Max, you get 0.5x or wide, 1x, 2x, and 3x optical zoom. And when you use the 2x zoom, you are taking the center 12 megapixel portion of the main sensor. In other words, you are not stretching or cropping the image like you would if you were using the digital zoom. With the 14 Pro Max, we get Smart HDR4, the photonic engine, and on that, it uses hardware, machine learning, and software to boost your photos, particularly those that are shot in low light settings. And also a note on that, it is not a replacement for night mode. And we also get night mode portraits, photographic styles, and you can best think of those as Instagram filters built into your phone's native camera app, macro photography, and Apple ProRAW. So quite a lot has happened since the iPhone 11 series released in September 2019. Now, additionally, on the 14 Pro Max, you can record 4K HDR video at 60 frames per second. And while you can record 4K at 60 frames per second on the 11 Pro Max, it will not take HDR video. We also have a big update to the front camera. Now, both have 12 megapixel sensors and both can take 4K video at 60 frames per second, but the 14 Pro Max, its front camera has autofocus, deep fusion, night mode, and the ability to take HDR video. Now, I would like to share with you some videos and photos from the front cameras as well as the rear cameras of both phones. So go ahead and take a look at this. Alright, so this is the forward-facing camera on both the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max. This is a test to see which one sounds better and looks better as seen on the 14 Pro Max. Now this is the 11 Pro Max's microphone. Now I anticipate that the 14 Pro Max's microphone will sound better. Let me know which one sounds better and looks better in the comments below. Now that I showed all the photos and videos, let me know which camera you think is better, as well as some additional thoughts. Otherwise, if you're here for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, then go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you can get updated as soon as I post a new video. And with that, I will see you next time.